And I made a little video the other day about us having one of the first CF Moto belts for the U10 Pro. Probably the only competitor at this point who also may have a sample, unbeknownst to me at the time, but nonetheless, kind of called me out, and because I said the sample was wider and longer, and joked about me even owning a pair of calipers. Okay, so first and foremost, you don't even have to have a pair of calipers to know that one's longer or wider. Why is that? Because the OE belt and the sample have them written right here. That's not a part number. That is a length. All right, so the Bando belt is 1,093.3 millimeters long, and the Mitsubishi is 1,122 millimeters long. So obviously that's longer than it, and the width is right there too, 35.2 versus 37.4. So in fact, I was correct. The Mitsubishi belt is wider and longer. Anytime you make a belt wider, you typically have to make it longer, depending on how much travels in a secondary, how much you got left. But if you don't have enough, you got to make it longer, because making a belt wider does the same thing as making it shorter. But that's for another day to talk about belt dimensions, which actually we have a nice video on that. So my point is, kind of know what I'm talking about. But again, even if I don't, I do know that those numbers on there is not part numbers, those are measurements. I've been knowing the measurements for months because I had them make these particular samples. All right, so another thing is how you measure belt width, okay? You never measure belt width at the top cog for anything to do with measurements for a vehicle. That is only reserved for one thing, checking wear on a belt. That is the only time you would ever measure top cog width. Why is that? Because Mitsubishi keeps their top cogs cut at this angle, whereas Bando cut their top cog square this way instead of at an angle. So hypothetically, if the cord width was the same on both belts, this one would appear narrower because the top cog is cut, and so you'll be narrow where you measured it. Okay, you know, that's something that we have to deal with sometimes on our Hunterworks belts. It's narrow. No, it's not. It's maybe even wider. You just don't know how to measure a belt. So we, of course, have videos show you how to measure a belt. But rest assured, we've been doing this on belts since about 2018. We are working with Mitsubishi on a lot of belts. We work with Gates on some stuff, and even Timken. We put in some really big POs with these companies. We're selling thousands and thousands of belts monthly, you know, not lifetime, monthly. And we kind of know what we're doing, and we're getting better at it and better at it. Our mantra here is to produce, or get these guys to produce stuff to our standards, our dimensions that work best for the vehicles. We have 9 different UTVs. A lot of them have the same clutches as the other ones, so those 9 we can verify belt dimensions and go off, modify, if you will. Some OEMs are just not always right, or they're using a belt from another model that kind of works. And when we do it, we have a standard at which haven't been doing it that long, because we just haven't had the opportunity to get this deep into it with our old company. With the 2 new companies are willing to work with me on dimensions, and it's just getting better and better and better. So when it's come time to buy a belt, you know, stick with somebody who's been doing this a long time, who cares about this product more than anything else, cares about you, and get you the most accurate, most reliable belt on the planet. And trust me, I monitor the heck out of it, and it'll serve you well. For any of you guys that maybe talk to somebody that had an older belt, you know, we've changed a lot. I mean, sure, we had some issues randomly over time, but we have been working those out. And since we moved over to the 2 newer companies, I don't think we even had a warranty claim of any kind so far. So they've been working out great. Anyway, just a short video that kind of turned long to tell anybody out there, I know how to measure belts, but I also know how to read numbers on 2 particular belts. So, got any questions, Todd@hunterworks.com. I'll be glad to help anybody out any way I can. Thank you.